The power of Buddhist blessings. The story you're about to hear is true, and it happened right here in Thailand. Mr. Chuey married Son Klin, the most beautiful girl in the village. Mr. Chuey was wealthy, while Son Klin was middle class, but her house was very clean. Many young men desired her, but Son Klin chose to marry Mr. Chuey because she lived with her mother, who was ill. She thought that if she married a rich man, she could take her mother to good doctors and get Western medicine. Son Klin lived in Mr. Chuey's house, but his parents disliked her because she was poorer. While Mr. Chuey was supervising the workers at the brick factory, Son Klin stayed home and did all the housework without complaining, never wanting to upset her husband. However, inwardly, Son Klin harbored resentment but could do nothing. Mr. Chuey was the youngest child would inherit the house because the two older sisters had already moved out and married wealthy men, so they weren't interested in inheriting the house. Son Klin endured it with kindness and calmness, never arguing. Some days, while she was washing clothes, her mother-in-law would throw her clothes and sarongs at Son Klin's head without any consideration for her. Son Klin secretly harbored resentment and confided in her mother. Her mother, Nong, told her daughter to be patient, saying that her in-laws would die soon. Nang replied, "How could they die, Mom? They live well, are strong, and are so good at cursing. I want my sister to help me." But she only comes home late every day, so she never gets a chance to know what's happening to her parents. Every day, she chops up the rat. Son Klin sits hugging the news, talking to her mother Phlong. "Oh, calm down first. If she falls ill this time, she'll die," Grandma Phlong said, her eyes sparkling. One day, my mother-in-law called Son Klin. "Son Klin, come here." "What is it?" she asked. "Look," Son Klin replied. "My sheets aren't clean. Look at those small stains. They won't wash out, Mom. I've been scrubbing for ages. Look at the dust on the windowsill. It's all dust. You have to wipe it again. Wipe it again." My mother-in-law was always finding reasons to make Son Klin do chores. My father-in-law then ordered me to finish the housework tomorrow and clear the weeds in front of the house. "Remove all the weeds that are growing among the flowers and plants." My father-in-law said, "Yes, Dad." Both my father-in-law and mother-in-law were delighted. "We'll make sure they can't stay here anymore. Then we'll go ask for our friend's daughter's hand in marriage and make her rich." I reluctantly went to ask for Son Klin's hand in marriage because my son was being so demanding. "Believe me, he won't be able to endure it for long. And what if he tells my son?" "Oh, my son won't believe it because I often praise Son Klin to him. I've never done anything to make him suspect that I dislike my wife." 2 months later, Bunchue's mother fell ill. At first, they thought it was just a common cold, but it wouldn't go away. They took her to the hospital. She had a runny nose, cough, and sneeze, but she still wasn't better. She had stomach aches, headaches, and a fever, even though her body was cold. The doctor couldn't find anything wrong. During this time, my mother-in-law became very thin and kept wanting to go home. Boon Chuey talked to the doctor, who said they couldn't find anything and allowed her to return home. When her mother-in-law returned home this time, she didn't scold or criticize Son Klin. Her father-in-law was surprised. During the day, her mother-in-law would lie down, eyes closed, not eating. Late at night, she would get up and go to the kitchen to look for something to eat. That morning, her mother-in-law told Son Klin, "My dear, I want to eat some fresh offal. Buy some for me, or will you tell anyone?" She also asked for some fresh pig's blood, saying, "A bowl of that would be so refreshing." Son Klin was surprised, but did as instructed. When she got the ingredients and was about to cook, her mother-in-law shouted from her bed, "Don't bother cooking anything. Bring it here and eat. I'm hungry." Son Klin was surprised that her mother-in-law, who was in her room, knew she was about to prepare food, but she reluctantly complied. The bowl was brought to her, raw. Her father-in-law heard her and came to see. "Hey, how can you eat like that? You're not feeling well? Are you forgetful or dizzy?" he asked. "Don't interfere. I'm not forgetful at all. I want to eat like this, or are you going to let me starve to death? The mother-in-law stood up, grabbed the bowl of offal, and started eating it disgustingly. Her father-in-law almost vomited. Where's the blood? Bring me the bowl of blood quickly. Son Klin handed it to her mother-in-law. She took a sip, her mouth stained with blood. She wiped her mouth with her hand, saying, "Oh, that's so refreshing, buy some more tomorrow." Her father-in-law couldn't resist and consulted his son, Chuey, at the brick factory about his mother-in-law eating raw food. "This isn't right," he said. "We need to see a doctor. A ghost has come." "Where are we going to find an exorcist, Dad? We don't know anyone." "We'll probably have to invite a monk from the temple to come and take a look." "That would be better," said the father. They both agreed, so they went to see a renowned monk. When the monk arrived at the house, Mom's breathing became erratic, and she was about to die. The monk chanted some incantations, gave Dad a sacred thread to tie around his arm and then around his neck. Not long after, Mom passed away peacefully. The father was very sad and depressed. Mr. Chuey, although heartbroken, managed to compose himself. Son Klin felt relieved. No one was making her work frantically anymore. Son Klin went to see her mother at home and found her ill. She told Mr. Chuey that she would stay and take care of her mother and take her to a doctor. Mr. Chuey gave her some money and told her, "How is your mother? Let me know. I'm worried about her." When she arrived home, Son Klin tried to beg her mother to go to the doctor, but her mother refused. "Son Klin, do you love your mother?" "Of course I do, Mom. You're the only one who raised me. Do you know how much she's suffering? She wants to die. No one can cure her. Why not, Mom?" "The royal physician can cure her." "No, she can't. It's time for her to go, but she can't. No one will take her. Inheriting the spirit in my body." "What are you talking about?" "I don't understand," said the mother. Son Klin was confused by her words. "Do you remember before, when you asked me in the morning why my mouth was stained with blood? What did it get on it? I'm a spirit. If you don't inherit the spirit, I will continue to suffer. After your mother-in-law died, I arranged for you to inherit the spirit from me, my child." Son Klin sobbed heavily. "I don't want to be a spirit. If you don't accept, you will continue to suffer like this all over your body. We were born with karma. Think of this as repaying your mother's kindness one last time," the mother pleaded. Son Klin felt sorry for her mother and promised to accept, agreeing to anything that would end her suffering. "Go get a bowl of water," she said. Son Klin went to fetch water. "The rain is coming. Go outside for a while, then come back in," the mother said. After sitting outside for a short time, she heard her mother call out, and Son Klin came in. Son Klin lay on the bed, her body pale and weak. "Drink this water from the bowl, my child," her mother said. Son Klin, with trembling hands, picked up the water and drank. She didn't know what her mother was doing to the water. "Come closer, my little child," her mother sobbed, hugging Son Klin as she lay against her chest. "In this life, we have heavy karma. That's why we have to be like this. Do good deeds often, my child. Unless necessary, don't possess anyone. Don't take anyone's life like I once asked you about. When you go out to eat raw food, be careful. Don't let anyone know," her mother instructed. A moment later, her mother passed away peacefully. After the funeral, Son Klin was filled with sorrow. Whenever her husband was out of sight, she would go downstairs to catch a chicken in the coop, tearing it apart and eating it hungrily. Her father-in-law, hearing this, secretly watched to see if it was a python or a dog attacking the chickens. He saw only a shadowy figure sitting beside the chicken coop. He rushed to get his gun from his bedside table, opened the window, and tried to shoot the figure, but it seemed to sense his presence and vanished. He then knocked on the door, calling out to Nai Chuey, "Wake up! Someone's taken our chickens. Come and see." Son Klin replied, standing behind her father-in-law. "Where's your wife?" Nai Chuey answered. "I'm here," Son Klin asked, standing behind her father-in-law. "Where did your husband go?" Nai Chuey replied, "I went to pee. Son Klin said, we can check tomorrow morning. The thief is probably gone by now." Go back to sleep. Early in the morning, the father-in-law, impatient, rushed to see. In the chicken coop, they found the carcasses of 2 chickens, their internal organs eaten. They quickly called their son, Chuey, to come and see. It must be something other than a snake. Maybe a fishing cat? It's a cat with cat paws, but it likes to eat fish. It wouldn't eat chicken, Chuey said. It's not a tiger, it's just like a person. It's a shame it's dark, so I can't see clearly. Oh, who would eat raw chickens, Dad? Or maybe there's a ghost in our village. Maybe it's one of those old-fashioned ghosts. The neighboring villages used to spread rumors that ducks and chickens were eaten raw. Tonight, I'll shoot it with my gun and extinguish it. I just want to hear the chickens crowing, she pleaded. Son Klin heard every word. No matter how much she wanted to eat, she had to restrain herself. It was difficult to leave the house because her father-in-law was out. She slept outside on the side next to the chicken coop, her gun beside her. Son Klin felt depressed, heartbroken at having inherited the evil spirit from her mother. She cried, and her husband, thinking she missed her mother, turned to hug her. When her craving became unbearable, she would buy chicken offal and fresh pig's blood to eat. Son Klin, overwhelmed with emotion, confessed one night that she was an evil spirit and begged him to leave her, promising to return to her home. Mr. Chuey, upon hearing the story, was deeply saddened and felt immense pity for his beloved wife. I can't leave you, he said. I love you so much. No matter what you become, I still love you. I can't bring myself to leave you. He continued, but if we have a daughter, the karma will fall on her. I don't want our daughter to suffer the consequences of my actions. Mr. Chuey embraced his wife, saying, Calm down. Let's do good deeds every day. Don't think about killing anyone. Resist your desires. The evil spirit won't be able to stay with us. You must be patient. Mrs. Chuey followed his advice, enduring hunger and suffering, refraining from seeking food until her cravings gradually disappeared. Mr. Chuey continued to try. The husband, Mr. Chuey, dotes on his wife, a spirit who is a ghost. He takes care of her constantly, even taking her to the brick factory to stay with him every day. Before work, he takes her to offer alms to monks every morning, and before bed, he prays and gives alms to the poor. Incredibly, Son Klin lives a normal life, no longer wanting to eat raw or unclean food, Mr. Chuey often jokes with his wife, saying, I have a wife who is a ghost. If you're very hungry, I'd even sacrifice my intestines for you, as long as you don't eat other people's intestines. Son Klin would then chase and beat him with the power of Buddha's blessings. Through the merit they both accumulated through their good deeds, they lived happily together. Later, Son Klin became pregnant and worried that her child would be a girl. When she gave birth, it was indeed a girl. Son Klin was heartbroken and cried, fearing that when she died, her child would inherit the spirit of a demon. Chuey then told her that when the day of her death came, no matter how much suffering she endured, she must not involve the child. He said that since birth, he had never seen anyone live forever. If the child didn't accept the spirit and she didn't die, then she could continue living. If it was true that she wouldn't die, then she could live on. Chuey's words comforted Son Klin, and she decided that when she truly became ill and near death, she would endure the suffering to prevent her child from inheriting the demon lineage. This was a strange event that occurred in the village. Firstly, this is to demonstrate that sin and merit definitely exist. Story 3. Encountering the giant ghost at Nong Phlong swamp. The story I'm going to tell you today was told to me by my father, Chalong. He said that in the old days, the village of Nong Phlong, Hindat sub-district, Huai Thalang district, Nakhon Ratchasima province, was a dense forest full of ponds, swamps, ditches, and canals, and it was overgrown with Phlong trees. Phlong trees are small trees that grow in swamps with stagnant water. There are many kinds, such as Phlong kinok and Phlong mueat, about 4 to 5 cubits long, and this is where the village was named Nong Phlong. My grandfather settled there with just 2 friends. Later, the family expanded to about 10 to 20 households. Each house was far apart, built on their own claimed land. It was said that the first people to settle here were only hunters. Only hunters were allowed to establish themselves in such a dense forest. Your father, Chalong, grew up here with several close friends, but he was especially close to Uncle T, Uncle Kam, and Uncle Long. These 3 often invited your father to go places with them because your father was fearless and always acted as a guide for his friends on their journeys, day and night. That evening, Uncle T came carrying his fishing equipment to find my father and said they were going fishing. Uncle Kam and Uncle Long would also be joining them. They told him beforehand so they could prepare before dark, as they had to walk to the pond. Of the 4 people who went out together, only Uncle Kam was the most terrified of ghosts, extremely afraid. When they arrived at the pond, they set up a makeshift shelter, what they called a hunter's hut, which had to be raised above the ground or even in a tall tree. Once everything was ready, they hurried down to the pond to set up their fishing rods, which were small bamboo rods, around the perimeter of the pond wherever they thought the fish would pass by. They helped gather firewood and build a bonfire, setting it on just as the sun was setting. Before going up to the fire, my father told them to check their fishing rods. While walking, Uncle Ham told Uncle T, "Hey, it's getting dark. I'm going to walk in the middle of the fire." Uncle Ham replied, "Hey, where's your rod stuck? Go check it yourself. How can you follow me around? My rod is my rod. You check yours, then you can come help me check mine." Uncle Kam said loudly to cover up his embarrassment. "Go on, hurry up," my father said, knowing that Uncle Kam was a coward. The fishing trip went well, and they even caught some fish for dinner. After dinner, my father prepared to go up to the camp. The hunter lay down to rest and regain his strength so he could get up in the middle of the night to check his fishing rods again. Uncle Kam said to his friend, "Hey, don't go to sleep yet. I think we should sit and talk first. It's better to sleep now. I'm tired after a long day in the fields." "I want to sleep." Uncle Long said this while climbing into the hunter's hut. Uncle T said, "Me too, I'm sleepy." "There's nothing to talk about." Uncle Kam jumped ahead, reaching the top first and immediately settled into the middle. "I don't like sleeping on the edges," he said. Then they slept in the middle of a profound silence, devoid of any sound. My father said it was strange because normally when he went into the forest with my grandfather, it wasn't like this. There would always be the sounds of various animals, big and small. At least some frogs and toads come down to drink at the pond, but it's so quiet now, it's eerie. My dad is an early sleeper. He falls asleep instantly and can wake up just as quickly. He heard a small clunk, then a loud bang. It was something huge falling and hitting the water with a loud crash, then shattering. He thought to himself, it must have been something enormous to make such a loud noise. He remained silent, but the sound faded. He woke his friends up so they could go check their lines. For the second time, it was around midnight. "Wake up, looks like the fish must have gotten ripped off." Uncle Kam said to Dad, "Hey, I'm coming with you, you old fool." Uncle T said, "What are you so afraid of, Kam? I'm so fed up with you. If you're scared, don't come. You're scared, and yet you still want to eat fish. If something happens, just yell loudly." Uncle T couldn't help but slam the rod. Dad said, "What are you afraid of, Kam? You're as big as an elephant, and we come to this pond often. We've already cleared out this forest." Dad said this after never offering an opinion before. This forced Uncle Kam to reluctantly part ways with his friends, each going their own way from where they'd set up their fishing rods, which were quite far apart. The sound of splashing water could be heard not far away. The sound of the water was like someone walking through water that was about knee-deep or higher. When they lifted their feet, the water brushed against them, creating a soft, not very loud impact. My father looked up, peering through the darkness, and saw a shadowy figure walking, bending and straightening with his fishing rod. "What the hell, you idiot? Are you done looking at your rod?" The figure simply straightened up, stopping to listen to my father, then bent down to another rod. "Hey, how can you see, you idiot? There's no light." "I asked you a question, and you're not answering?" my father asked angrily. Then, a soft light emanated from the shadowy figure my father saw in the darkness. My father walked closer to get a better look. As the figure grew larger and taller with every passing moment, he stood still, less than an arm's length away, having to crane his neck to follow its height. Its eyes were bloodshot, staring back at him, but my father wasn't afraid. He glared back. "So it's you who's been secretly eating my fish. No wonder there's no fish left." It remained silent, only staring at my father, then grew even taller before stopping, motionless. "Hungry, are you? Who are you?" my father asked, knowing full well that the figure standing before him was a ghost. Then he turned to call out to Uncle Kam, who was striding towards him, but someone replied, "Hey, Kam, come here, quickly, come see what that is." My father, in a playful mood, wanted to show Uncle Kam what it was like to encounter a ghost. He wondered how it would feel to see that this kind of spirit was no small feat. It wouldn't budge. Uncle Kam hurried over. "Looking at big fish? I didn't catch much." "Where?" Uncle Kam, still too frightened to look around, stared only at my father's face. Seeing this, my father pointed to the tall, pale figure. "Oh my! A ghost!" Uncle Kam's last words echoed through the late-night forest, his body snapping as he scrambled through the water and bushes towards the camp like a madman. My father ran after him amidst the shouts and yells. Uncle T and Uncle Long joined us, but when they arrived, they saw Uncle Kam lying motionless on the ground near the campfire. It took them a while to help him get up, leaving them exhausted. My father had to tell the other two uncles to help pack up the fishing rods and go home because Uncle Kam kept crying. They arrived home at 4 p.m. and he was sick for another 2 or 3 days before recovering. From that day on, my father never invited Uncle Kam to go fishing at that pond again, and Uncle Kam never went anywhere at night either. Thank you for listening to Thai Local Tales. I'm Captain Piroj. Until our next journey together, take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode.